Good morning, Jada, and all of our online learners. This is fifth grade. We have Mr. Giovannides' class, and we thought maybe each day we would mention at least one of the names of our online learners throughout the week, and maybe even have our hello parade on Fridays. So, good morning, Jada, and all the online learners. We have a little different format this week. Today, we are just reading our textbook. Can someone tell me what pages? Brooke.
824 through 829.
824 through 829. So today there is no journal entry. What we're trying to do on the first day of the week, usually a Monday, is get an overall idea of what our lesson is about instead of doing one page a day. So we're going to get an overall idea, and if you finish early, I want you to look at the review questions on page 829. In school here, if we get done early, we're going to discuss the questions. If we find ourselves with a lot of extra time, we can go to where the journal entries are for Monday, and we can answer some of those questions, but it's not mandatory. It's just an optional thing at this point to do the review questions. I may just say to the class, pick three, which means you can do questions 1, 3, and 5, 2, 4, and 5. You can mix it up however you'd like. Okay, but today I just want you to review them. If you feel like typing them into your journal entry, feel free, but it is not required. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we will do journal entries based on the websites. And Friday we're off school, but Thursday we will have a quiz. Okay? If for some reason you did not do the quiz last week, check PowerSchool. If you don't have a score there, please take the quiz on Google Classroom. If you're unhappy with your score, let me know, and we will make some arrangements for you to do better after you study the study guide. Okay, today's lesson is classifying things, and this is a pretty neat lesson, guys. We have some vocabulary words: fungi, kingdom, and protist. So all things in nature fall into a kingdom. So we have 6 kingdoms. You probably sort your clothes into separate groups. This is on page 824. Perhaps you put socks in one drawer and shirts in another. You might also sort books, magazines, or CDs. You can tell this book's a little bit old because they're still talking about CDs. Do any of you still have CDs? Some of you do. You have a pile of movies. Now we get most things through Netflix or other sources. Hulu. But if you do still have CDs, you might sort them. The process of sorting things by how they look and how they are different is known as classification. Scientists use a system of classification to sort living things. Originally, people sorted living things into 2 groups, plants and animals. The differences between the 2 groups seemed clear. Animals could move around, whereas plants could not. The 2 groups reproduced in different ways and usually looked quite different from each other. Once the microscope was invented, however, classification became more complicated, as scientists quickly discovered many tiny organisms had some traits of plants and some traits of animals. Their cells did not exactly match either of the cells explored in lesson 1. Today, most scientists recognize 6 kingdoms of living things. A kingdom is a large group into which organisms are organized according to their traits. 3 of the 6 kingdoms are made up mostly of organisms that are microscopic. So 3 out of 6 kingdoms are so small you cannot see them unless you have a microscope. So that picture there on page 824, what kind of creature is that? Any guesses? Freddie? What's that? Okay, squirrel. In this picture you can see organisms from the animal kingdom, the squirrel, but you can also see a plant, moss, and the fungi, mushroom. So there's actually 3 kingdoms there. You can't see the protists or bacteria, but they're there. So you can see 3 out of 6 kingdoms just with your eyes, But if you had a microscope, you'd see 5 out of 6 kingdoms. So what are we talking about, kingdoms? They're on page A25. Bacteria, protist, fungi, plant, animals. Now, bacteria has 2 kingdoms. All right, so there's 5 listed, but you have to realize bacteria have 2 kingdoms. I really like this lesson, guys. It really ties in what we learned in the first 2 lessons this year about cells. Now it starts to get interesting. Now you can actually visualize and see things. You can see things with your eyes, and you can see things with a microscope. So this is kind of a neat lesson. It kind of brings things together. Okay, online learners, Jada and the rest will say hello to one of our other online learners tomorrow. And have fun this week at home with your online learning. And while the weather's still nice, get out, enjoy the kingdoms. All right, everybody say goodbye, online learners.
Bye.
Bye-bye.